guys, just a quick video. I thought try and explain to some of my international viewers the situation why South Africans feel so strongly about Rassie Erasmus's you know, video that's made such the rounds, and it's a week later, and people are still talking about it. People are still arguing about it on social media, and to be honest, I tend to get the feeling, talking to some of the people I know abroad, that they see it as a very different way to South Africans. So I thought maybe I'd do a quick video just trying to explain that and how people see that. Okay, well, I think to start with, I think you need to understand that what Rassie Erasmus means to this team. He's been quite a mercurial figure for the Boks. He obviously led them to the World Cup, and I think we all watched the Chasing the Sun, an extremely emotional documentary where you saw greater insight in how much it means to be a Springbok and how much it means for Rassie, this team at the moment. So I think what happened is when certain promises were made and were broken by whoever, the refereeing, or when it seemed like the Lions were getting away with things, Rassie basically came to a knife fight with a bazooka. And, basically decided enough is enough. He's been fighting for quite a while now, especially at World Rugby and just at the World Cup. It was quite a big theme about making sure South Africa has the same respect, and we're not seen as the thugs that some people try and make us out to be. There's some arguments, there's some validity there in the past where South African teams have gone overboard on the physicality, have become dirty at times. And maybe have gone overboard, but this team is one of their hallmarks is that they play hard, they're physical, and they like to dominate physically. It's part of our DNA as a rugby nation, but that they are fair. That it's quite a big accountability. It's been quite a big thing at the World Cup to also understand the referees and try and get them on the good sides as well. And I think after all that work was done, what happened that first test really frustrated Rassie and the management team, and especially when they tried to get clarification, they couldn't get it. Now, where they should have made the video, that's a moot point. I'm sure technically World Rugby wouldn't want that to happen again. A lot of us probably wouldn't want to see these videos every single week. I think we all understand that. But I think part of the problem is, in those, if you look at it from the point of view from the Springboks, they're frustrated. There was a bunch of decisions, and it wasn't just one or two. And if you're a Lions fan, you can say that these things happen, but there was a bunch of them that went against the Boks. Sure, the Boks didn't help themselves on the game. They made mistakes, and they didn't probably deserve to win the game either. But if you take Hamish Watson's yellow card for one, that could have changed the game. There was a bunch of them that could have changed the complexion of the game. Anyway, having seen that happen, there was a feeling in the Bok camp of frustration, and what Rassie basically did is he went and threw himself on the hand grenade, and said, well, he'll take the and the team must just get on with what they do and do it best, and they came back in that second test. But like Ruud de Jager pointed out this week, the Boks had to make it personal, and we are a nation that seems to do better when we are backs against the wall. We seem to, when we feel we've been aggrieved, we seem to play better. And with Rassie throwing himself on that hand grenade for the players saw he'd sacrifice everything. He could cost him his career at the moment if World Rugby really follow through with this. So that could be a bit of an issue for him. And the fact that he did that shows just how much he was willing to sacrifice for the team, whether you agree with it or not, and how much it means to the players. I think you need to know these players are a very tight-knit group of players, and they take it extremely personally when these things happen. So I'm not surprised that Rassie did that. I think we all knew it was probably a bit calculated. It probably had some backing, and I suppose the response from World Rugby is understandable. But saying that, I mean, what World Rugby doesn't realize is that, look, we've been sitting, let's be honest, reffing decisions have been a bugbear for a long time now. It's not the first coach who's maybe not as radically as Rassie's spoke out about it, but it's not the first coach to ever do that. It's not the first coach to ever criticize a referee. It's not the first nation to ever be upset with a test match decision. And the head in the sand approach by World Rugby doesn't quite help anybody, to be very honest. Instead of being a bit more transparent and helping out and making people understand, being educational. What they do is they stick their head in the sand and try and bash down anybody who talks out. Unfortunately, in this case, what they've probably only succeeded in doing by charging Rassie now, and while there might be a yes, that's the way it should be sort of reaction from across the world, all they've done in South African eyes, Rassie's seen as a hero. He's seen as somebody who spoke out, who took on the establishment, who's not scared to say what he likes and to finally say what everybody's thinking. So if you put it in that point of view, and World Rugby now go ahead and they charge him and they sanction him, all they're going to do is make Rassie a martyr. Yeah, whether you agree with that or not, that's the way he's going to be seen. It also sends out a very stark message to any other coach in future that anybody who comes out and criticizes anything is going to get slapped down, and it doesn't do well for the game. And whereas poor officiating gets swept under the carpet. I know there's a process. I know the refs tell us that there is accountability, but tell me if any of the fans ever see it. That's the problem. So as they say often in the legal service, for justice to be done, it must be seen to be done. And we don't see that at all in refereeing circles. So what we're likely to see in the future anyway, sorry there's some noise in the background here, but what we're likely to see in the future anyway is just a continuation of the status quo, whereas rugby's moved on. There's more fan engagement on social media, there's more interaction between people, and there's more ways, immediate ways of getting messages across. And to still sit with an antiquated system where a coach has to wait up to 72 hours after a game to get any sort of feedback is actually quite ridiculous, to be very honest, and that's just my view. Surely rugby should move with the times. Surely they should make it more educational for fans. Surely there's better ways of dealing with this than a coach coming out and doing a video, which was a nuclear option, let's be honest, it was a nuclear option. But surely there should be some way of handling it where everybody can win out of this. That's just my thought. I just think that's where, and I think if World Rugby goes ahead with this, I'm not sure anything's going to come with it. Anyway, we've already seen people like Marco Mazzotti from the Sharks, saying he's a New York investment guy, and he's saying that he'll use some of the New York lawyers to defend and put World Rugby on trial. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants rugby to go through that. What we want transparency, we want accountability, we want teams to have a fair playing field, and we want it to happen now. Because I tell you honestly, while Rassie might get into trouble, while we might this Lions test will go ahead and it will go past and we'll all forget about it, in 6 months' time it'll be somebody else. It'll be Eddie Jones, or be Ian Foster, or somebody will have calls go against them, and they'll lose a game they should have won, or they'll lose a game that maybe they should have lost. But the point is there'll be a contentious cause, and the whole process will start again. So think about that for a moment. It's an honest plea from my side. I think we need to move on as we need to use technology. We need to embrace transparency, and there's got to be a better way than what we've got at the moment. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think below. Cheers. Bye.